Howdy folks, as you can see, or maybe you can't see on that sign there, it is Sunday, December 1st, making this the first video I have done in the month of December. The time is 4:02 p.m. and I'm here at Sherbourne subway station. And I was hoping to catch a train rolling in, but it's been quite a while since one has came in either direction. Patience has got the better of me, so we're gonna head out. And say nuts to having any type of quote-unquote cinematic opening to this one. Not that I'm any good at that anyways. And I'm gonna be heading up to street level as I notice my camera is tilt locked. Let me take it out of that. The last time I used this particular camera was for live streaming a bike ride. I had to slip my glove off and on to toggle that setting. We're off to a good start, Johnny. Someone getting some assistance at the Presto machine. I'll be heading up to street level and heading south down Sherbourne Street. And then at Dundas Street West, we'll head west over to Dundas Square. As I hear a subway train roll in, but this is the intersection of Bloor and Sherbourne. Right at the north end of downtown. And temperature-wise, it's about 1 degree, so it's not too bad. And the last few videos I recorded were after sundown. So it's nice to have somewhat blue skies. But there's not a whole lot going on in the city this weekend. And this walk is taking place on the east side of downtown. There's the Maison Selby, an excellent Oliver and Bonaccini French restaurant. On the site of what was a very expensive residential relocation. They had to move that old manor a few feet over to make way for construction of that condo. That's interesting. He scanned this thing, doing his rounds as part of a security check of that building. Which might be part of some kind of facade preservation as a new condo is going in next door. In this neighborhood, just over to the left, is St. Jamestown, the densest high-rise neighborhood in all of Canada. This used to be a rather wealthy part of town. hence all the grand old homes. There's a guy in sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt, no socks. Contrast him to how this lady is dressed. This street doesn't have the best reputation, particularly around the intersections of Sherbourne and Dundas, Sherbourne and Queen, and probably Sherbourne and Shooter. But we'll be getting as far as Dundas, then I'll be heading west. This is the eastern terminus of Isabella Street. And I already walked past it, but that Timmy's was one of the worst rated in the city as far as service is concerned. There's the Isabella Hotel. That's the 72 Sherbourne bus that'll be heading up into the swanky Rosedale neighborhood. Up to South Drive. Dollar Prince is no more. So this went from being an upper income area in the late 1800s through the early part of the 19th century, and it kind of went in the other direction. Now it's more of a mixed income area. There's a lot of mixed income developments and newer condos popping up. This is Wellesley Street coming up, and on the left is the new, well, new-ish Wellesley Community Center. People playing some badminton. And Sherbourne features these handy, somewhat protected bike lanes, which were moved over from Jarvis Street as part of the Rob Ford era. Sweet Addictions. It's an interesting choice of names, especially given the neighborhood next to an Indian cuisine. There's not a whole lot of commercial activity on Sherbourne Street. There's Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic School. And we're about to go by a concert venue. One that was supposed to close in 2025, but apparently its life has been extended until 2026. And that's the Phoenix nightclub and concert venue. That's one I used to go to. I've been to a few shows there, and that's back when Edge 102 used to host from there regularly on weekends. It's an 18,000 square foot venue. It opened in 1984 as the Diamond. And I think Kenny vs. Spenny are rolling into town later this week for a show there. Tickets are still available. I'm contemplating going to it. There's a really interesting staircase. You don't see that too often on the side of that home. That must be a separate enclosed apartment up top. The Phoenix is just over there. We'll be walking past it in a moment. And speaking of Kenny vs. Spenny, the house where they filmed, I think, seasons 2 and onwards, as part of their TV show, is just south of here. I remember driving here from the burbs with my friends and parking at this green pea lot and popping across the street and going into the Phoenix. I think the venue owners are actively looking for a new spot to relocate to. A little bit of Toronto history. And that is where the Smashing Pumpkins did an acoustic show. A couple of acoustic shows as part of their Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness tour. It is eerily quiet. There's a notice for redevelopment to put a 49-story tower up where this building is. And this one. No doubt a lot of somewhat affordable homes were lost. Well, this one still seems to be open. As we approach Carlton Street, which is home to the 506 Carlton streetcar. There's a peek at the CN Tower off in the distance. And a somewhat stealthy Toronto police vehicle. Let's cross over and head through the Allan Gardens. This whole neighborhood now, at least the one I'm about to head through when I cross the street, is known as the Garden District, named after the Allan Gardens, which sits in the northeast quadrant of that neighborhood. And this is home to one of the most viewed videos ever on this channel. I made it in the summer of last year, as there was an enormous homeless encampment here. National Council of Women. Oh, that plaque no longer has any useful info on it. But during the pandemic, this was just tent after tent after tent, as far as the eye could see, pretty much. And there were always support groups and a security presence in the park. Much of that has since been cleared away. One can only hope that those people have found greener pastures. But I don't think that's been the case. It's really just a game of whack-a-mole. There's the Botanical Gardens under construction, normally open to the public. So let's get back on track and head over to Sherbourne Street. The number of these teepee structures has tripled since that video, I think. Fire ceremony in progress. Please respect the space and do not interrupt. Do not take photos or videos. Oops, we're in a public space. I'll keep out of that area, even though it is a public spot. I'll respect those wishes, but nobody has the right to tell you to turn off your camera in public. Just be respectful of others and don't point it in their face or anything like that, and you shouldn't ever have a problem. That's a look towards the financial district. This is Dundas Street East here. There's a sign, Cabbagetown, 5 kilometers or 5 minutes to the left. I really hate that. What does 5 minutes mean? If you're on a bike, if you're on foot, what if you walk really fast like me or someone who walks really slow? Allan Gardens, 1 minute to the right. Just say Allan Gardens to the right. You can, it's literally right here. They really should update those signs to state the distance in meters or kilometers. That's a look east. I'm thinking of doing a short live stream after this video. I've been feeling pretty shitty the past several days. I'm not sure what it is. don't seem to have a cough or the sniffles or anything like that. I've just been kind of feeling very fatigued. I want to keep getting my steps in, so dragging myself out of the house and doing this video on a live stream is a way to make sure I achieve that. That's probably going to be incorporated into a new development. And this is where they filmed one of the greatest Canadian TV shows of all time, at least part of it. 288 Sherbourne. It's currently for sale for, I think, just over 2.3 million. And back when they filmed Kenny vs. Penny, this gate was not in front of the area. They filmed season 2 and onwards here. Season 1 was filmed in a different townhouse just to the north of here, a much newer one. You can find those episodes on the Kenny Hots channel and around YouTube. They would engage in a series of silly competitions, like who can wear an octopus on their head the longest, who can drink the most beer, and some very inappropriate, at least by today's standards, contests that I think were pretty awesome. And I forget the channel, but there's a video that, or there's a video that's basically a documentary on the history of that home and the other home they recorded at. Well, they also recorded the pilot in California. That one was, I think, was either who can lose the most weight or who can gain the most weight. There's a fire truck just south of here with its lights on. It's not uncommon to see emergency vehicles along this stretch of Sherbourne. If there was better upkeep on a lot of these old homes, this would be a rather magnificent street to take a stroll on, at least from an architectural point of view. And a lot of them are run down and boarded up. They've been serving as rooming houses for the past several decades. And here we are at Sherbourne and Dundas. Don't really care to find out what those emergency lights are for, but you could observe a lot of interesting things at this street corner. There's where King Place used to be, a popular restaurant amongst cab drivers. they recently relocated just west of here as we now go west on Dundas Street.
I prefer to give you a full face hug.
And this is an area fellow Toronto YouTuber the Ken Continuum lives. Wonder if that fire truck is turning right and heading to where that other one is. No, it kept going straight through the intersection. And here's the famous or infamous Fillmore's. And a look at parking rates here. That's a 3-star hotel, at least according to TripAdvisor. And quote-unquote adult gentlemen's club. It's one that won't be here much longer. There's a new development planned for that spot. And a new one that went in just across the street. Toronto's ultimate gentlemen's club, #1 for stags and bottle services. Afternoon delight. There's the new King Place. This building originally opened in 1913. And the plans are to turn it into a 46-story tower. Some boots. Now things are going to get a bit livelier between here and the square. Papa John's, one of those recently closed down on Danforth, right at Woodycrest, just east of Pape. See a lot of people waiting for the streetcar. I mentioned it before, but this is one of the most changed intersections downtown if you go on Google Street View. And turn back the clock about a decade. 3 corners of the intersection have been transformed completely with brand new towers. And there were development proposal signs at one time to put one where that parking lot is. I think that has been spared for now. Quite the transformation in this area as we cross Jarvis Street. This is Mutual Street. And just to the north where the camera is pointing, there's the TMU campus. It's always fun to see doggos interacting with one another. I think one of them lunged at the other one. And these have been opening up quite a bit lately around the city. Krispy Kreme cafes, much smaller than the original concept that came to Ontario in the 90s. They opened up a few mega stores. But now their strategy seems to be much smaller Tim-style stores. And we've seen a decrease in coffee times and country styles. The chain's most likely to compete with Tim's. Krispy Kreme seems to be stepping up to plug that void. I think that's a space where McDonald's could have done well with their McCafe. They've got better coffee and arguably better muffins. Add some of their breakfast menu items, such as hash browns, and I think you'd have a bit of a hit. They'd probably have to jack up their prices. Their margins aren't very high. Without the rest of the McDonald's business being a part of it. There's Dundas Square straight ahead, our destination. There's the Imperial Pub. That whole block is in danger. There's a redevelopment proposal for it. Imperial Pub's been around for quite a while. It's a very different pub on the main floor. The main floor's got a bit of a Moe's Tavern vibe. The second floor they call the library. It's quite nice. It's got a pretty cool rooftop patio. It's probably not even open right now. Or if it is, nobody's on it. There's Dundas Square across the street. You could also call it Yonge-Dundas Square or Dumbass Square. Across the street from the building dubbed the Tenor. Features a big movie theater. There used to be one in the Eaton Center, so it's good that there's still one in the area. Although I don't think that name, the Tenor, has really caught on with locals. The Rotary Christmas tree is set up again this year. It's pretty underwhelming, but it's a good cause. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this one. Do let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do on YouTube, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. But I think I'm going to do a live stream and maybe pass through the Eaton Center. All right, thank you for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.